What's going on there, everybody? I'm ShinRobjira, and today I felt like doing something a little different because I'm kind of getting tired of posting just Godzilla content every week. Hey man, it happens. So I found a couple of these online, and some of them are more so social media targeted. You know, for every like you answer a question, I don't care. I'm just looking for an excuse to make a different video, and I feel like this video will definitely help you lot understand me as a person a little bit more, at least when it comes to video games. So by all means, let's get started answering some questions. Alright, question 1. My first console. Technically, my first console was the Sega Genesis, and the first game I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog. But when it comes to, you know, having a system that's mine and that really only I used, it was the Nintendo 64. Question 2. My favorite video game? Easily, Metroid Prime. You know, whenever I'm asked what's your favorite game, a whole bunch of titles pop up, but the one that always seems to be up top and glorified with all the lovely colors and awards and all that other kind of stuff, it's always Metroid Prime. 3. My favorite character in a game? Samus Aran. 4. The most frustrating game I've played. It was a game called Damnation. I didn't see any reviews popping up for this game, and that right there probably should have told me, hey, this game sucks. Damnation is this steampunk western game, and it has you go out, collect bounties with your teammates and everything. It's a single player game. I don't even think it had online capabilities. And I got it because it reminded me a lot of Dark Watch, an infinitely better game that still to this day looks amazing. Can I get a port of that? Xbox? Hey, yo, Xbox, can I backwards compatible, please? But anyway, yeah, Damnation. Horrible controls, extremely unresponsive. The visuals were terrible, especially for an Xbox 360 game. I mean, normally that doesn't turn me away from wanting to play a game because graphics aren't everything, but in this game's case, it could have used a nice looking graphical engine because, oh boy. And the final question for this Get to Know Me Gamer edition is my favorite snack to game with, and that is nothing. I will snack on fluids. I hate getting grease, cheese, or any kind of residue on my controllers because it just doesn't feels awful on my fingers and everything. Then you have to deep clean the controller so nothing gets all funky. Not so much a snacker while I'm gaming. Alright, now on to the next one, which has more questions. Question 1. A game that had a lasting impression on you. Easily The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. To this day, I still cite that game as like a major personality building kind of a game. I think the game's rather dark subject matter really rubbed off on me, especially as a kid. The inclusion of masks and transformations and just really weird everything really rubbed off on me as well, and my love of side quests come from this game, so I really do have to cite Majora's Mask as a very life-changing title for me. And yes, I do prefer Majora's Mask over Ocarina of Time, just my personal opinion. 2. Favorite female video game character. Well, since I already said Samus Aran, I'll say Ayane from Dead or Alive. Number 3. A game that's so bad but so good. Probably Spawn Armageddon. I was so hyped to play that game because around the time that it was coming out, I was really getting into Spawn. I kept seeing screenshots for this game. The reviews weren't all too favorable. I mean, they weren't bad, but they weren't good. Finally playing the game, I loved it. I think I beat it in a month or so. Playing the game today, there's definitely a lot of wear and tear there. I wouldn't mind getting a new Spawn game this day and age. That'd be friggin' awesome. Although I'll just hold out hope that he is a DLC character for Mortal Kombat 11. That'll probably be the only reason why I buy that game, because no reptile. Number 4, a game that hit an emotional spot in your heart. Ori and the Blind Forest. Music, story, final boss, ouch. It's an Xbox exclusive. If you have an Xbox and you have a couple bucks on you, definitely play that game. It is beautiful. Super hyped for the sequel. Number 5, favorite game developer or studio. I mean, I hate to be basic here, but as far as studios go, Nintendo is my favorite video game studio. Nintendo as a whole has made some of my very favorite games of all time, and I have the most memories with Nintendo. Developer-wise, though, I'd have to go with Secret Lab, because they're the people that are responsible for Night in the Woods narrative engine, and oh my god, that shit just blew me the freak away. And believe me, that won't be the last time you hear about Night in the Woods on this list. Number 6, favorite male video game character. I don't want to say Link, because that would be somewhat egotistical, because Link is essentially just an avatar for the player. He doesn't have any personality. So as of right now, since I'm really not prepared to answer this, I'd have to say the Dead Cells guy, the prisoner. Guy's got a good sense of humor on him, and he keeps on going and going and going and going. Yeah, I really wasn't prepared for a favorite male video game character. Leon Kennedy, he's cool. Number 7, 5 of your favorite video game OSTs. Yikes. Okay, let's see. No surprise here. Metroid Prime. Number 2, I can never choose between the two, so this is gonna be one of those instances where I say 2 for one number, and that is Majora's Mask and Wind Waker. Easily 2 of the best OSTs ever in Zelda history. Obviously a little bias there. Number 3 would definitely have to go to Night in the Woods. Literally in the middle of playing the game, I fell in love with the soundtrack, half of which I hadn't even heard yet. It was one song that I heard, and I knew that I needed it, and I couldn't find it anywhere for free, for that matter, so I just bought all 3 of the soundtracks off of Bandcamp. Number 4 is definitely going to have to go to Ori and the Blind Forest, because Jesus, tap dancing Krizzle. The main menu music, there's so many memes on the internet of people saying, oh, starting up Ori and the Blind Forest, promise not to cry, and then you hear those vocals and it's just instant tears, and it's the truest thing in the world. And my 5th favorite OST is definitely gonna have to go to Oxen-Free, because aside from that game just being a masterpiece, imaginative as all get out, and oftentimes extremely frightening, the soundtrack really helps suck you into that world. I mean, the narrative is one thing, the voice acting is another, the visuals is another, but that soundtrack though, Yeah, this was probably one of the harder questions on this list. Number 8, a video game that not enough people talk about. Easily Metal Arm's Glitch in the System. I've talked about this game on the channel before, I've played it a couple of times on stream, which I really need to pick up and finish. It was just one of those games, one of those multi-platform games that was just so much better than people probably thought it was going to be, and it's got this huge cult following. There's a team that's doing like a PC remaster of the game, which is another reason why I ought to get myself a PC sometime soon. There's a fan comic coming out apparently, and the fan base is just so very vocal for this game. They're so very hopeful that we'll get something from this game. I mean, as of right now, Blizzard Entertainment holds the rights to it, and they keep renewing it for whatever reason, so hopefully, maybe one day, we'll get a remaster, we'll get a reboot, or we'll get a sequel. Probably a remaster or a reboot. That's the most likely, which is also very unlikely. Number 9, favorite villain. I could say Ridley, I could say Zant, I could say the Skull Kid, I could say Bowser. I think I am honestly gonna go with Ridley on this one, just because every time you hear that theme, every time, like when you're replaying a game and you know he's coming, that is easily some of the most tense moments in a Metroid game ever. And it doesn't ever fade. Like, even if I know that I can beat this guy no problem, it's still, like, everything surrounding Ridley is just very, very tense and very, very awesome. Plus that theme music, though, absolute jam. Plus the guy is immortal. No matter how many times you blow his guts out, he always comes back as a mechanized or meta or Neo or whatever version of himself. Number 10, favorite video game as a kid. Oh boy. Either Metroid Prime or Majora's Mask. Those two were really big in my childhood, so yeah. Number 12, a game or series that you've never been interested in. Despite giving the series a lot of educated tries on my part, I've never really been huge on the Grand Theft Auto series. I know it's a much beloved series for many reasons, and the games have absolutely fire soundtracks and really great and amazing and layered characters. I could never commit to it. I could never really just sit down and play it for hours and hours on end. Especially the newer ones. Like the older ones I can definitely see myself getting into if I gave the series another shot, but the newer ones I feel like they're just putting so much into it that really takes the element of playing a game out of it. It's just way too much micromanaging for me. That's just me. Question 13. Favorite NPC or party member? Ooh, that is a really tough question. That is seriously such a hard question because so many of my favorite original non-playable characters are playable now. I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave it at that. Question 14, a game that never gets old. Well, I could be repetitive and say Majora's Mask and Metroid Prime, but I'm going to sidestep all of that and say Sonic Adventure 2. I know, the game hasn't aged, it's really not that amazing of a game, I get it, I know, but I find myself replaying the game a lot, flaws and all, and I always have a good time doing it. Always. Question 15. A game that everyone should play at least once. I really can't list one, so I'll list 3. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, which just got re-released on the Switch for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not complaining, I have to get it. Vex, and Metal Arms Glitch in the System. All 3 games have this cult following fan base. All originally had sequels planned, but all of their sequels got canceled at some point. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy was originally supposed to have a sequel called Sphinx in the Shadow of Set, but that was literally quietly announced and then canceled. Metal Arms Glitch in the System 2, there was character models that were already rendered. Apparently there was a story that they were going to instantaneously go with. Seriously, out of all the multi-platform titles that got crap tons of sequels, why was Metal Arms Glitch in the System the one that didn't get it? Talking about you tacking the power of Juju and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. Well, no, Ty and the Tasmanian Tiger was all the way through. And with Vex, it was hinted that there would be a sequel, but yeah, nothing really came of it. I think because that game got delayed so many times and anybody that was interested in it forgot about it. It was quietly released. Oh, how unfortunate. Number 16, a game that inspires you. Definitely A Night in the Woods. Art style wise, with the colors and the way that this game was animated, that's one thing. Music wise, that's another. It's the story of Night in the Woods that really got me. Despite every single character being an animal and despite the main character being a female, I mean, that really shouldn't stop you from being able to relate to the character's story, whether you're male or female. But anyway, yeah, there was this whole other section to the story that is clearly something I've never been through. But for the first half, you're literally playing a character that just dropped out of college and doesn't know what to do with her life. You know, there's a lot of stresses that come with that. It's like, what do I do? Where am I going? How am I going to live? I can't live with my parents forever. A lot of those subjects get tackled, and going through that and then leading into the major mystery of the game was just so very good. And the way that the game ended and how the main character really started speaking herself, I just find that very inspiring, and that's something you really don't see in AAA games these days. I love playing games like Night in the Woods where it's almost like a life lesson in the form of a video game. If you haven't played Night in the Woods, play it. Can we get a physical release of that game? Did I miss out on that? I really need that. Question 16, favorite genre. Hard to say, I always love a good adventure. Question 18, that game you really should have played by now. Probably Devil May Cry 5, even though that just came out. Either that or more Final Fantasy games. I've only played like 4 or 5 of them. Question 19, favorite indie game you played recently. Night in the Woods or Oxen-Free? Great games, play them. And the final question, a game that truly scared the shit out of you. Easily Silent Hill 2. I played Silent Hill 2 for the first time when the remastered bundle came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and experiencing that game for the first time was also the first time in a very long time that I was afraid to turn off my lights when going to sleep. Here's to hoping that the Silent Hill franchise doesn't stay as dead as it is, and somebody who actually gives a shit about it actually gets to make a game on it. And that's pretty much that, everybody. Do so hope you enjoyed. I saw that the dichotomy test video was doing really well, and a lot of people wanted to see more of that. So I'm thinking about maybe doing more test or question-oriented videos in the future. I know I said that with that video, but now I'm like seriously considering it. So by all means, if you have any more questions for me, just ask them in the comment section below. Feel free to ask about more than just Godzilla, because I'll gladly do a video of all the questions you lot ask me. Seriously, you can ask me anything. Music, movies, manga, music, Godzilla if you really want to. I'll do a video for each and every single subject. I like doing videos like these. I feel like it humanizes me a little bit more, and I'm not just that guy that posts figure reviews every week with the occasional music review and stuff. Yeah, I have been ShinRobjira yet again. Do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.